right, it's Thursday, and we are 20 minutes away from kickoff Thursday Night Football, so it's time to pick all the games for Week 9. If you're new here, this is the board. We're going to be picking all the games. Well, I'm going to do the picking. You'll do the criticizing. Last week was a tough week, went 8-6, so I'm 72 and 76 and 42 on the year. That sounds right. So overall, doing pretty well. Last 2 weeks, back-to-back 8-6. It's just a tough stretch, middle of the season. Teams are gearing up for second half runs. We're trying to figure out who's who still. So a lot of different things can happen. And for this, I decided to get a little adventurous with some of my picks. And we'll begin with the Thursday night football game of which backups can we start in the Packers and the 49ers. So a lot of players are out for this. I believe Aaron Jones is scheduled to go ahead of game time, so he is okay with the calf issue. We'll see how much he participates. But given the fact that the injuries and attrition have most affected the 49ers, I'm going to go ahead with the Packers winning this game because I believe that when you have Aaron Rodgers on your side and the other team has Nick Mullins, likely you're going to win the game. I know the 49ers have been a thorn in the side of the Packers for a while now, but I think the Packers have the more talented group, and they're going to be refocused after that embarrassing loss to Minnesota in the Lambeau Field. So I'm going to go with the Packers for Thursday Night Football. Unfortunately, this probably won't get uploaded in time for you to see this before the game starts. So just know that this prediction is coming before kickoff. We still have about 20 minutes. So right under the wire. Next, the Broncos and Falcons. Broncos got lucky last week. They're not gonna get lucky this week. I'm going to go with the Falcons in this game. I believe that this offense has finally found its way, and it'll be too much for the Denver Broncos to be able to keep up with. Seahawks and Bills. This is going to be one of my upset picks. I'm going to go with the Bills because they really need to showcase that first 3 weeks of the season was not a fluke. They weren't just beating up on crap teams. The Bills are going to need this win, and I think they can do it. And it would be an upset, at least in my mind. A lot of people, I think, are going to feel confident picking the Seahawks this week. Josh Allen's done fine, but he needs to prove, like I said, that those first 3 weeks weren't a fluke, and I think they'll do it this week against Seattle. Bears and Titans, two teams that are sort of on the mend, if you will, with back-to-back losses. The Bears are fraudulent. I've been saying it all season. It's just finally coming down on them as their schedule gets more difficult. The Titans have suffered a couple of tough defeats, but they're still one of the better teams in the league, and I think Mike Vrabel is one of the better coaches in the league, and they still have Derrick Henry. So it's going to be an interesting game of the Bears defense versus the Titans offense. Which one can perform better? I'm going to give the edge to the Titans, and I'm going to say that the Bears lose another game and Matt Nagy's seat gets a little bit hotter. Ravens and Colts. Based on how well the Colts defense is playing this year, I'm going to go with this as another upset pick. I'm going to go with the Colts over the Ravens. It's amazing how good Xavier Rhodes is doing this year. Just absolutely embarrassing for Mike Zimmer to ship out a guy that he couldn't figure out how to do, and everybody thought he was done, and then he goes to Indianapolis and he resurrects himself. So how about that? What's his name? Marquise Brown has sort of amplified his frustrations with the offense, specifically his role in it, and he's going to be even more frustrated now that he has to go up against Xavier Rhodes, who's having a great season. So I think the Colts are going to win this one. We'll see what version of Phillip Rivers we get this week, but I like the Colts to win this game. And the Ravens will start facing some serious questions about their ability to run for a Super Bowl this year. Next, we have the Panthers and the Chiefs. I like what the Panthers have been doing this year. I like what Matt Rule has done since showing up to Carolina, but I think that they're not going to be ready for this offense. Like the Carolina defense is just too young, too inexperienced. They've played well up until this point, but this is the Super Bowl defending champions, and it's Patrick Mahomes, and it's the offense that can burn you with just about any weapon that they have. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for the Panthers this week, and the Chiefs are going to dominate. Lions and Vikings. So there's a chance that Matthew Stafford doesn't play this weekend. He's on the COVID-19 list as a contact trace risk. He doesn't actually have it. He didn't test positive. Kenny Golladay is also unlikely to play. He's pretty banged up. And the Vikings are fresh off of that win in Green Bay where they got a lot of momentum, and they are entering a pretty decent portion of their schedule where they could rack up a lot of wins in a row. I'm going to be the contrarian and say that they overlooked the Lions for some reason, and whether Chase Daniel, who they don't want to play, or Matthew Stafford starts, given the history, I think the Lions are going to steal one from Minnesota, and it's going to be another week that goes by where we don't have a win in the home stadium. So I hope that doesn't happen, but that is my prediction. We're doing things a little bit differently here. We're going with some interesting picks, if you will. Next, we have the Giants and the Washington football team. This one's not interesting. Daniel Jones is just playing himself out of the league at this point, and I think Ron Rivera is the better of the two coaches, no questions asked, and he has his team ready to go more than Joe Judge does to the New York Giants. I give the edge to the Washington football team. Next, the Texans and Jaguars. I don't even know who they're going to be starting at quarterback. Is it Jake Luton? I don't know how to pronounce his name. So, yeah, good luck keeping up with Deshaun Watson and Will Fuller and company, who did not get traded to Green Bay because they could not agree on fair market value. Raiders and Chargers, really like what Justin Herbert is doing. Anthony Lynn has to be on the hot seat a little bit for just losing all these close games, but I think that they're going to be able to sort of put that whole discussion and narrative to bed with a sound win over the Raiders. Really, really excited about Justin Herbert and his future in the NFL. Next, we have the Steelers and the Cowboys. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because when you are trying to decide whether to throw out Garrett Gilbert or Cooper Rush at the quarterback position against this front seven, you've already lost, and that's par for the course against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh remains undefeated. Next, we have the Dolphins and the Cardinals. I'd like to pick the Cardinals in this situation, but I'm going to say that the Dolphins have momentum, and we haven't really seen anything out of Tua Tagovailoa yet. So I think we'll get to see more of that against the Cardinals, who don't have Chandler Jones anymore. He is on IR, so that is a bonus for Tua Tagovailoa in this offense. Myles Gaskin, I believe, is on IR for 3 weeks, so that really hinders the run game. I would stay away from this running backfield if you play fantasy football. But I don't know. I just have a feeling about Miami. When the defense is healthy, it plays very well, and Kyler Murray is prone to mistakes. So I'm going to give the edge to Miami. Next, we have the Saints and the Bucks. This should be a great rematch from earlier in the season, and I'm going to give the edge to the Buccaneers because they get Antonio Brown will be activated for this week. How much he participates is an unknown, probably not that much, but this is the NFL. Anything can happen. And the Saints are still battling a whole bunch of attrition. They had Alvin Kamara and Drew Brees show up on the injury report this week. And who knows when we're going to see Michael Thomas. So I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. That seems like the safe pick. For Monday Night Football, it's the Patriots and the Jets. I don't know anybody that's actually going to watch this game. It's the fact that both of these rosters are pretty miserable, and the only reason the Patriots have wins and the Jets don't is because they have the better head coach. So I'm going to give the edge to the better head coach because both sides of the ball for both teams are pretty puke right now. But Bill Belichick, I trust more than Adam Gase, and I believe that Bill Belichick in no way is going to lose to the Jets this year. So I'm going to go with the Patriots in that. Those are all the picks. Last week I went 8-6, 74 and what was it, 76 and 42 overall so far this year, and hopefully we can add to that win total with a better week. That's why I'm trying something different. A few out of the box picks. Colts versus Ravens is pretty out of the box. Lions versus Vikings, betting against my own team. Going with the Dolphins over the Cardinals. I'm not quite confident with that, but I do believe that there is some momentum there in Miami. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the game.